Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Professional Foulers World Cup Situation Room. Today's date is June the 20th, 2014, and we are over a week into the World Cup, and so far, so good. It still hasn't, it has disappointed. We'll talk about one of the matches that did disappoint, but so far, so good for the most part, Kieran.
I've enjoyed it so far. The games that I've watched have been so exciting, and I hope it gets better. It can only get better from here, no doubt.
It's difficult to get worse than our night match from yesterday. So far, the night matches have not been so great, with the exception of today and, of course, the USA-Ghana match. We haven't really, well, Ivory Coast and Japan was decent, but other than that, we haven't really had too many crackling night matches.
I don't know why. Usually the build-up is supposed to be okay. You build up to it. Usually the first match is usually the most exciting for us so far. No clue why, but hopefully it gets better as we get into the latter stages of the tournament.
Well, let's start talking about the matches from yesterday. Colombia and Ivory Coast. A win for the Colombians. We also saw a very emotional Sarradia, who was thinking about his father who passed away years ago, and also just overcome with emotion with the fact that he made it, to the international stage. And, the last time we did this World Cup situation room, we were asked, do you think the World Cup is touching people around the world? And it's moments like those that really get in touch with everybody who tunes in.
Yeah, it's the global game for a reason. It's the beautiful game for a reason. You see moments like that. Can you imagine your father dying and 2 hours later you have to play a pretty big match for your country? I'd be really overcome with emotion, and it was a good match overall. Good to see Serie D get out there and play the beautiful game.
It was a good match. Unfortunately, Ivory Coast unable to come away with the win, but Colombia punches their ticket to the round of 16 as we start to see teams earn their way through. And let's talk about that match. Colombia, James Rodriguez definitely stepping up on the national stage.
Yep, you don't call him James for a reason. James Rodriguez had a really strong game yesterday, and I think he's been one of the focal points with Falcao going down. You need one player to help you out, and James Rodriguez has been that guy.
I'm a very firm believer in the attacking midfielder, and James Rodriguez is only cementing that case during this World Cup.
He's a great player overall. For club, we've seen what he can do. It's only a matter of time before a really big club snaps him up. Maybe this is the time to actually take a look and just make a bid for him, because he's really been proving himself this World Cup, and his value can only go up from there.
Well, as we start to see teams punch their way into the round of 16, we see teams falling out, that being England against Uruguay. And Uruguay comes back with the ridiculously skin-tight uniforms, and it's the Luis Suarez show. He took a bite out of England, 2 goals for him. I mean, you have a man who was injured the first match and comes in and scores a brace in the second. How about that?
I think that's Suarez's quality. He's that type of player. Show up for the big games. Uruguay in the first match looked really, really out of it. They didn't show too much of what they can provide. And when you put Suarez in for the second game, this was a completely different Uruguay team, very confident on the ball. Pressing, getting chances, and when you have Suarez on the field, you're gonna put away a few of those chances. You've seen it with Liverpool, and he's done it with Uruguay too. So there's no doubt that his quality has shown through, even if this was his first game in this World Cup.
How about the fact that his second goal was assisted by Steven Gerrard, his teammate?
Hi, Steven Gerrard is just bad luck all around. For any team, you saw it with Liverpool giving up that goal against Demba Ba, and that sent Liverpool on their way. But I felt so bad for him. He tries so hard, and he's the captain of the squad too. And you're trying to captain a very young team, a very inexperienced team, and to let that happen, it's kind of heartbreaking to see.
An England team, which we talked about, great in attack, not so great in defense, and Luis Suarez took advantage of that. And how about that header that he scored, especially against that lax defense of the England back line. They were not really in position. They didn't really track back, and they gave the ball away in attacking position. Suarez found space and nods it home, and everybody was commenting that he was celebrating before the ball hit the back of the net because he knew.
As a striker, you usually know that when the ball is going to go in. You do something as amazing as what Suarez did for that header. You know for sure it's going to be in the back of the net. No doubt. Again, though, the header was off some lazy defending. You saw it in England's first game against Italy, where Balotelli got behind. In between the two defenders, no one was tracking him, and he was able to sneak in. Suarez was the same way for his goal. So I think more questions about England's defense than Suarez's quality, because we know Suarez's quality, and you have to mark him. There's no doubt about it. You can't let him go.
You mentioned Mario Balotelli. That man looked like he needed a Snickers bar or a nap. He was just frustrated and angry the entire match, and especially he had that chip where he had the brilliant opportunity to put the ball into the back of the net, and he chips it wide.
I don't know though. We're talking about this match, right? The game against Costa Rica, right?
Still up?
We're talking about the match against Costa Rica today.
Yeah, the match against Costa Rica. But yeah,
I guess
I mean,
there's a lot of things going wrong for Italy in that game, but we can bring that up when we actually talk about it in a bit more in depth.
yeah. The last match from yesterday, telling Kiran prior to this broadcast, I would rather have listened to all 110 stanzas of Greece's national anthem rather to have watched that match. It was so terrible. It was mind-numbing. It was, I wanted to cry when it was over. I was so sad for the sport of football after what Greece didn't do in that match. Katsarenis gets a red card in the 38th minute. Kostas Mitroglou still cannot stay on the field. Japan cannot find the back of the net. I was so... Oh, my goodness. Oh.
That is not what you want in a World Cup match. And, I think it hurt both teams, Japan not being able to finish when they had to. They could have gotten a vital 3 points against a weakened Greek team. Greece for having the player sent off, the captain sent off, and one of their main strikers also, not playing 100%, getting, being subbed out 35 minutes in. I was watching that game though, and I really tuned out. It was one of the first games I really actually did not pay attention to because I knew how not soccer it was. It wasn't a game of soccer, and it was mind-boggling to think that. Can you imagine if these two teams get out of their group? Which probably won't happen, but you never know. And I don't know. It was just not a good game of soccer. We needed some soccer therapy, and today definitely showed it.
Yeah.
Today had some really good quality matches.
Definitely. Question coming in from Diego. Well, not really much of a question, but a comment, saying he was completely wrong about the Uruguay result, but I never thought that Suarez would be able to transform such a mediocre Uruguay into a contender. And the answer to that is horse placenta.
Yes, horse placenta. It did not work for Diego Costa in the Champions League final, unfortunately. But maybe it works for Suarez. Maybe he ate the horse placenta. I have no clue. Yeah,
the
right.
magic of horse placenta, ladies and gentlemen, is taking over the world.
I'm gonna try to buy some stocks in it. At this rate, we're using it more often than not, so it's a good commodity to get into. Some stock trading tips over here.
All right, well, let's go into today's matches. First match of the day, Italy and Costa Rica, and Los Ticos go through into the round of 16. CONCACAF showing up, tearing down everybody. Let's go, North America.
North, Central, and even South America, but I don't know. It's been a big jump for CONCACAF right now. They're showing that we're not the minnows. We're not the minnow soccer group and around the world. We're able to play against some of the big boys and really take our game to them, and it's really great to see. It's good to see CONCACAF being represented well in this World Cup as well.
It's just a great result for Costa Rica. They played well from top to bottom. I mean,
Massive.
what else can you really say about Costa Rica? They were great in attack and just refused to be stopped.
I don't, Joel Campbell and Brian Ruiz. I think that combination has been so effective for. Okay, we got the Fulham fan over here celebrating the. Hopefully, he returns to Fulham next season.
Man, see, that's the thing. Like, I actually forgot who scored for Costa Rica just because I guess I was so mind-boggling, so frazzled that the fact that the winning goal for Costa Rica came from the head of Brian Ruiz. As a Fulham fan, I was ecstatic. I was almost moved to tears with the fact that Brian Ruiz scored the winning goal for Costa Rica. I can't even talk. I was so excited to see that Brian Ruiz scored the winning goal for Costa Rica.
It was an amazing goal, underside the bar. You would think they would have goal line technology, but you could easily tell that the ball crossed the line, and it was off a really good cross too. So the build-up play for it was very effective, and I think that really frazzled Italy. Italy was supposed to be the front contender for this match, the front man, but again, I think the organization from Costa Rica helped out a lot, and it really frustrated the likes of Pirlo and Mario Balotelli, which, are the two main players for Italy.
And you're talking about the goal line technology. Mark Tirico said it best. Holy Frank Lampard! After after Brian Ruiz got that to bounce off the underside of the bar and on the behind the goal line. But yeah,
Right.
Costa Rica. I mean, they were great in attack, and they wouldn't be broken down by Italy today. And like you said, like we talked about, Mario Balotelli was frustrated. He wasn't himself. Andrea Pirlo just couldn't get things going in midfield. Costa Rica just, man,
They
CONCACAF
stood,
on
they
the world
stood
stage.
strong, in my opinion. They didn't break down defensively, or when they had possession, they'd use their possession really well, and I think that really helped them out. In terms of just staying organized, they didn't really have to, back down from their defensive position. And it's going to be interesting to see who they match up against coming to the knockout stage, and whether they can take that form into the knockout stages.
During a World Cup of high scoring, World Cup of tons of goals, we had our high scoring match of the World Cup so far. 7 goals between France and Switzerland, the neighbors.
Almost eight.
Almost. That's very true. I mean, that goal from Karim Benzema at the end was basically like a three-quarters court buzzer beater in basketball that doesn't count. I mean, it looks great, but it won't go into the scorebook.
No, it won't. But it was a great goal. It was a golazo. Let's establish that. And I think it deserved to be in there just because it was a great goal.
Well, let's talk about the French who just came storming out the gate. Just, my goodness. Where do you even start with this team? They tore apart the Switzerland defense. A Switzerland team who I thought was actually very strong when they played against Ecuador. They were very good and very speedy in attack. They were able to work the ball through the fullbacks, but France just shut everything down today.
They're an enigma, in my opinion. After what happened and transpired in the 2010 World Cup, you see this team just do a complete 180, and from back to front, being able to defend. But they gave up 2 late goals, but at that point it didn't matter. But up top, they've been so efficient, so fast. On the counterattack, finding the right passes, and those right passes are leading to goals, and that can only help them come later in the tournament. But I don't know if this French team is going to burn out. Are they burning up their goal tally too early?
More than likely.
More than likely, right?
More than likely.
We've seen it with teams where they do so well in the group stages, and then they sputter out come the knockout stages when they play tougher opponents. But
Let's see. Oh, go ahead.
I'm still so confused at how Switzerland got the 7th seed. The top 7 team in the world. What's FIFA's ranking system at that point? That's thrown out the window. Numbers mean nothing now, I think.
This nation makes really good chocolate. Let's rank them very high.
And it's my home country, Sepp Blatter.
Yes. We are
Oh,
stationed there. Let's be nice to them.
right.
Oh
No,
man. But
nepotism at all.
I want to talk about the first goal that was scored directly from a free kick today, and what a sorry goal that was. It could have been Andrea Pirlo, it could have been Yaya Toure, but no, it was it Inler? Was it Gökhan Inler with the
No,
free kick that
I
just
said it was Zemaili from I forgot what team he plays for. I think Zemaili plays for I think Torino, not Torino, Parma. He's a and that goal was just a laser down the middle, like in between the people's legs, and it was a decent goal, but not one of like Pirlo's quality or Yaya Toure's
no.
quality. It just snuck in there, you know. It's one of those free hit goals.
It was
30
kind of
yards.
like you remember the Manchester Derby a couple of years ago with Robin van Persie's goal against
Yeah,
Manchester
right.
City with the wall.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. All you do, you put your feet together and you stand in the wall. What was
Right,
Benzema
exactly.
doing?
I don't know. If I was there, I'd be yelling at Benzema, you know, because that just close your legs, son. That's it.
Close your legs. Our
Close
final
your legs.
match, yeah, final match of the day, Honduras and Ecuador. One that showed Honduras finally after what? They said about 32 years, about 510 minutes of soccer. That's about more than 9 hours. Actually, yeah, that's more than 9 hours of soccer without scoring a goal. Carlos Cosley finally puts into the back of the net. Brilliant moment for Honduras. Brilliant moment for the country. Unfortunately, they weren't able to make a stand against Ecuador.
Uh, it's tough to say. Honduras. You could tell from even their first game, they're not as organized as a lot of the other teams, and I think Ecuador really exploited that, and it was good to see Costly get that goal. It was some good build-up play, I believe, and some lucky deflections, and it landed right to him, and he was able to just bury it into the back of the net. It's good for the country, but I don't know. If they wanted to progress, they would have to have more quality around in the team. They gave up a lot of needless fouls, and resulted in a couple yellows. And I think that discipline is what translates to teams making it into the next round, or going home early.
At Honduras, I think they still might have a small chance of advancing, although
I
I'm
think
not
so.
exactly
Right?
sure.
Yeah. I think it's a small chance, like just like England's chance if Italy were to beat Costa Rica today, but that didn't happen. So it's a numbers game. So we'll wait and see. We'll let you guys know though.
Who would have thought Spain and England getting knocked out in the group stages?
Then Portugal on Sunday.
And yeah, and Portugal on Sunday. Yeah.
Right. Oh man. I don't know though. This last game today was really exciting. It really was a end-to-end game for me. Watching it was very exciting. Two really not big nations, but very passionate soccer fans. Very good team overall. Good play. Very positive play. Way more positive than Japan Greece. But it was a good game overall. Ecuador, was able to sneak out a win with two goals from not Antonio Valencia.
Inner.
Inner, yeah, his inner self showed today. So it was good.
These
A
are
brave,
two very good goals from Inter. I mean, the
right? Yeah.
first one a true poacher's goal, and the second one just blasted past the keeper.
Mm,
Not didn't blast it past, but it was on a header. That's
off the
right. It
header,
was
right?
a set
Yep.
piece goal. But still, I mean, he's the hottest man in Liga MX right now, and right now he looks to be the hottest man of the World Cup.
Hey, you find these hidden gems. It's only a matter of time before maybe a team in Spain or Portugal is able to rack up some money and look into this guy's services. I heard he's a pretty young guy, I believe.
Hmm.
And with prospects like that, you definitely will find a club, a bigger, better club, and it's good for your career too. So good job for Inter today. Nice job.
A fun fact about Inter Valencia scoring a brace today. He has 3 goals, and he's up there now tied at the top of the goal scoring chart.
Is he tied with the own goals group?
He's tied with own goal, and also Thomas Muller,
Okay.
Karim Benzema, and Robin van Persie, and Iron Robin. He's up there with them.
That's some pretty good company, minus the own goal group. But hopefully it continues. He's got one more game. If they win that, Ecuador could be through, I believe.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So you never know what's going to happen. He could have a hat trick, and he could be on top. He could be on the mountain by the end of the group stage, which is fantastic for him. And he deserves it. His goals have been fantastic so far.
This is the World Cup Situation Room. We are the Professional Foulers. I'm Jonathan Duran. He's Kieran Ballin, the soccer writer for, Chicago Fire beat writer for Soccer Newsday, and as well as the Belgium World Cup beat writer. And let's go ahead and get into the matches tomorrow. If you guys have some questions or you want to predict the matches tomorrow, go ahead and get your questions and comments in. We'll make sure to get those answered before we get out of the show. Our first match tomorrow. First, nice fact about tomorrow, it is my goddaughter's birthday, so happy birthday to her. But also, first match of the day, Argentina and Iran. Of course, like I said last time, I will be rooting for Iran simply because they have Ashkan Dejega. But you really got to point it to Argentina to get the win.
Yeah, I think Argentina's quality is there. I think this game will definitely show them that they show viewers that they do have the quality, and it's one of those games where Argentina should win. But we've seen in this World Cup surprise teams, and I wouldn't discount Iran at all. They play positive soccer. They've got a very good coach who's very organized defensively, and teams are able to nick a goal back and hold on to it. We saw it with Costa Rica today. You never know what's going to happen in this World Cup. So, but if things all pan out the way it should be, I think Argentina should win handedly. But you never know. That's my 2 cents.
All right, so we both got Argentina picking up the win tomorrow. Let's go over to our second match of the day, Germany and Ghana, which, all intents and purposes, is probably the most important match of the day.
Yes, for Group G, it's important. Hopefully Germany is able to get the win, knock Ghana out. Germany would progress at that point, and it would help U.S.'s chances of progressing as well. Once they play their Sunday match. But I think Germany is too organized right now and too in the mode of goal scoring and being very organized. As I said in previous hangouts, that Germany is a very strong team and very organized. So there's no reason for them to screw up at this point.
Hey, you look at this Germany team, like you said, they're very organized. They're very disciplined, and they're just so strong attacking. You would point to them to win the match. That's who I'd make the pick for. But let's look at the chaos side as well. If Ghana were to win, that would definitely throw a big wrench into Group G. And what do you think it would take for Ghana to win and do so?
They have to be more organized, I think. They were lucky to get away with some of the fouls that they did against the U.S., but I think the Germans will be just too strong and too knowledgeable to get to give those away, and they'll be on the ref to make some of those big calls. But I think they should again use their speed because we know Ghana has a lot of speed within them, and their midfield is probably one of the better midfields in this World Cup. We saw it with the build-up player for their goal, Andre Ayew, scoring the game-tying goal against the U.S. But I just don't know if they have enough in the tank to overtake a strong German team like we saw against Portugal.
The one thing I've really noticed about Ghana is that they're tenacious. I mean, we saw what they did to Clint Dempsey's face and to Jermaine Jones and everybody. They were hassling the United States all over the field. Michael Bradley was ineffective. He was met every single time that he was on the ball by the Ghana back line. I think that if they were going to be able to win, it's going to have to come from that back line, from their midfields. Sully Montari and also everybody in that back line. Sully Montari is... we've seen the quality that he has, especially as a defensive mid. He'll be squaring up against probably Mesut Ozil for most of the match. And I really that's going to be a fun matchup to watch. That's definitely something that I'm going to keep my eye on.
Speed. You see, we've
Speed on
known
speed.
yeah, Montari's got that speed. We've seen in the Premier League when he was there, and now he's, in Italy. He's still maintaining that speed, even though he's got a bit older. He's still a quality player, and should not be taken lightly. Gian also, I think, will have a decently strong game. He had a good game against U.S. Setting up the game tying goal. So he has those moments of creativity, but I just think at the end of the day, the Germans are just too strong, too organized and they're a goal scoring machine, and I think that's what they're known for. So I think it's going to be Germany winning 3-1 against Ghana.
Too big, too strong, too fast. Is how you see the Germans.
Yes, D Rose.
Too big, too fast, too strong, too good. That's Derrick Rose for the Chicago Bulls. Our final match
Too good,
tomorrow:
right?
Nigeria and Bosnia Herzegovina. Bosnia and Herzegovina. I really think tomorrow is the day that the Dragons get their very first World Cup win.
Yeah, I'm definitely calling that as a win for them. They're a very strong team. Very again, I keep saying that teams are organized, but I think that's one of the crucial things you need to have when playing against a lot of these teams in these group stages. You have to be organized. You can't just play and just not have a set plan. But I think Bosnia's up top is really strong. You got Dzeko up top, then St. Louis boy Biševek, I think, up there. So I think they should have the quality to beat Nigeria, and it's not going to be easy because we saw Nigeria past couple games not be as organized as a lot of these other teams that have qualified into the knockout stages.
Yeah, I really liked Ibisevic's form. He was able to get that goal against Argentina, and I really, really want Edin Dzeko to be able to get that first really big goal for him. We've talked about him before. He's underrated, I really feel, in the Premier League. I really think that he could have been and should have been starting forward for Manchester City for a lot
Right.
of the season. I mean, especially alongside Sergio Aguero, who, of course, was a goal-scoring machine. But you put him up there, you put him underneath Sergio Aguero, and he just didn't get the stars that I felt that he deserved. And now he's with Bosnia and Herzegovina here at the World Cup, and it's about time for him to shine.
I think his quality in the air is another big factor for him. He's strong in the air and with his feet, which you don't really get with really tall players. But you get that with Dzeko, and he's very confident on the ball, which is very important for the build-up play for Bosnia. And I think he's going to be one of the big players coming up against Nigeria. Nigeria's going to have their hands full, I think, in this game.
All right, well, we previewed our matches for tomorrow. It's a little short preview of the United States-Portugal match. Portugal, of course, more than likely Cristiano Ronaldo is going to play. Injured and all, he's more than likely going to play, but they are going to be missing their starting center backs, and we're going to be missing our starting forward. So let's play the game here. Kiran, who do you pick as the starting center forward for the United States on Sunday?
I'd say Chris Wondolowski gets the start. He's what I've read and what I've seen in MLS. He's very good on the ball, very good at holding the ball up. He's comfortable having his back to goal, which is really important, I think. When setting up the midfield players, and I just feel like he finds himself in these holes that defenders don't usually defend, and that's where he's going to pop up and bury the ball. We've seen it for what he can do with San Jose, and we've seen bits and pieces of that quality come into the U.S. national team. I think he's going to be able to. He'll probably get a goal against Portugal. I feel like, especially with two inexperienced center backs marking him. But I think he's the strongest out of the remaining forwards that we have. So I think Wondolowski is going to be the top guy for the U.S.
Wondolowski has proven to be a workhorse in the box, especially during that match against Azerbaijan, where he found himself in open space quite a few times. And especially, like you said, he's going to be going up against two inexperienced center backs, the two backups for Portugal, and so he'll have a field day in the box. But, I'm going to go on the other side of you here. I'll pick Aaron Johansson to be at the top. I was joking with somebody during the last United States watch party that Aaron Johansson is Peter Crouch, if Peter Crouch was, maybe fast and was coordinated, then he could be Peter Crouch. But other than that, Aaron Johansson, he's tall, he's strong, he's able to put himself on the end of crosses on set pieces. The United States, they proved that they were able to earn a few corners against Ghana. And I really think that Aaron Johansson has quality to bring to the United States. He's very good on the ball. He can spray passes, and like I said, he's a good target man at the front. So I'll pick Aaron Johansson. You'll pick Chris Wondolowski. We'll see who's going to get the start on Sunday.
Yeah, formation-wise, I think it's going to be very similar to what we saw against Ghana. There's no reason to switch whatever was working. And I just hope now that the U.S. stays a bit more organized with an established forward up top. We saw in the Ghana game where, there were times that U.S. was just clearing the ball just to relieve pressure. I think we have to be able to hold onto the ball and create things, out of the midfield and, put the pressure on the opposing team. And I only hope that that's what we can do against Portugal, because that will set us up well, to score, to get the opportunities to score.
All right, well, we've reached the end of our program. Jonathan Duran sitting alongside Kieran Ballin. And Kieran, your final thoughts from today?
It's another great day of soccer. I cannot complain with the amount of goals that's been scored, amount of great play, great surprises too. And that's the beautiful game at its best. CONCACAF is representing well, and you can only hope that we have another surprise team come into play in the next couple of days as these groups start to figure each other out.
All right, we are the Professional Foulers Association. Glad to have you with us. You can follow us on Twitter @ProFoulers. Follow us on WordPress, professionalfoulers.wordpress.com. You can find us on Facebook, the Professional Foulers Association, and also we're on Google+, the Professional Foulers Association, if you're into that. What else to add? Oh, yeah, we'll be back on Sunday night. Sunday night after the USA match, we'll be here to talk about how the U.S. progresses into the round of 16, and we will shout and we will celebrate and we will loud over all of the goals that we will score over Portugal, because they ain't got nothing.
They're going home. They're packing their bags. They'll bring their bags with them when when we beat them. No big deal. I might have lost my voice by that time, so I'm just warning you right now.
So Portugal found out that Spain was going back, so they're gonna make sure they're back for some paella.
Right, they can take some sangria on the plane with each other. Let them enjoy the Iberia Airways.
They can hug it out and cry, and also go look at Rafa Nadal's French Open trophy and look at the things that they could have had.
Right, exactly. There's always Euros. Euro 2016 is around the corner, so that's fine.
It's in Paris. That's almost Iberia.
Right, exactly. Close enough.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
All right, see you guys.